mirror? God,
You asked for it. It's not the mirror. It's not the mirror. No point for you just yet.
She's got Revenge of the Hunted. And the Predator Ooze, Dungrove Elder, Ulvenwald Tracker, Green Sun Zenith package, and Rancor being the primary way to burst through. Although Batterskull and Sword of Feast and Famine don't hurt. What's Ross looking at?
I mean, Ross is looking at Delver. I know Ross pretty well. People who watch SCG Live a healthy amount know Ross pretty well. He's from Middleton, Connecticut. He was in Portland last weekend visiting his girlfriend. He also went to college out on this side of the world, so he decided he was going to do a little trek, go to Portland, come down to LA, see some old friends, do this tournament, playing Blue-White Delver as usual, and then he's going to fly back to Atlanta to do the Invitational and then go home. But Ross is known for two things: playing Delver relatively well, also playing Maverick and Legacy. He's actually won a Open with Delver.
Oh, okay.
He won in Indianapolis, of course, was the Invitational. He won the Standard Open after he got knocked out of the Invitational. So he's been known to flip a Delver a time or two, as you can see here.
Turn one Delver flipped already with Ponder.
Yeah,
following it up. This is the exact kind of start he wants. I mean, Kyrie doesn't really have a lot of ways to interact with the Delver. I mean, she's got one Dismember, but mostly she's on the race plan, right?
She's not racing too well right now, and that hand of two Predators is a Batterskull, a Sword of Feast and Famine, and three.
It's a little slow.
3 4s. That is a little slow. So as long as Ross is able to just keep up the pace, you know, something like a Geist here or Vapor Snag there, it's really just going to be able to keep Kyrie on the back foot and never going to let her catch up. As we do see a Geist Saint Trapped right now. Another Forest for Kyrie comes into play, and we do have a Predator Ooze.
So now, I mean, she can realistically, wow, that's a really short clock.
This is a real start.
That is a real short clock.
So see an Angel Token put into play for the Geist. And Predators is going to get the opportunity to block, but at this point, I don't want to pronounce the match over. But yeah, she's at 2. We know the contents of her hand. Even Dismember isn't even out now, as that's actually
Speak of the devil.
What she drew. Just another Predator Ooze, in for 1, going to get a counter, and then the Air Beats are going to finish her off from Ross.
Now she's got in her sideboard access to a variety of weapons. She's got Crushing Vines, Stinger Fling Spider, Sword of War and Peace, potentially Ground Seal, Drag Tusk, Ulvenwald Tracker. I mean, she's got a lot of options. I think it's pretty clear she knows the game 1's a little rocky against Delver, but she's got a lot of action to bring in and board out some of the slow cards.
Looking at Ross's side, of course you're going to find Celestial Purges here, but they're not for this particular matchup. Timely Reinforcements, not a bad card to have here against Mono Green. Going to be able to block a fair amount. You just want to be able to chump block Dungrove Elder long enough so that you don't die. Hopefully there's not a Rancor on it. Mental Misstep with 4 Birds and 4 Llanowar Elves. Ross only has 1 copy of that, but it's realistic, along with Dissipate. I actually also like Dissipate in this matchup, because you aren't going to find any Cavern of Souls here, and there are some cards that are worth countering with a hard counter. One of the things about Mono Green is that Phantasmal Image isn't particularly good against this deck. Predator Ooze is not a great thing to copy.
Dungrove Elder
is a horrible thing to copy. Now there are 2 Thragtusk here, which are pretty good.
4 Strangler Geists.
Those are also pretty good as well. You're also going to find a Dismember here, and then 2 Spell Skites if you think that Kyrie is going to board in some Crushing Vines, maybe some additional
Well, the Spell Skites are pretty amazing anyway, right? Like being able to redirect Rancor.
That's
or
true.
Revenge of the Hunted. I mean, that's very, 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 very powerful.
That's true, and also a good blocker. For a couple of turns while Predator is trying to get his beat down on, you can block a few times. So I can see those coming in. Ross does have like 1 Mutagenic Growth main deck that he probably want to sideboard out. Man, he's also on the 2 Mana League campaign. Did we miss the memo here?
I don't know. I usually play 2 or 3 Mana Leagues.
Oh, I thought that was more. I thought that was like a lock for at least 3. But most people 4. I feel like I've missed some sort of memo here.
It's not that good in the mirror.
That's true, as we did see last match. Oddly enough, it was not that good in the mirror. But he does have some cards that he can board out. He can, he does have 12 cantrips, so you can chop 1 or 2 of those as well for some cards that he wants to sideboard in.
You're so greedy.
Me?
Cutting cantrips?
I'm just saying that's an option.
Cantrips are the best cards.
I'm just saying it's an option. That's all I'm saying. I swear.
Trying to get these kids at home to sideboard out their cantrips. Well, okay, you guys first, honestly, eat broccoli. No, seriously, eat broccoli. It's good for you. Brush your teeth multiple times. Also good for you. Keep your cantrips in. Also good for you.
3 keys to success. Right there.
I think Kyra's, like, she really needs Birds of Paradise and Land Nowhere Elf, right?
She has to start quickly. She has to. You can't have a draw like what she had that game. Even if she was on the play, that draw would have been good enough. You have to start quickly against this deck. Now, the problem is, of course, is Gut Shot, which Ross has 3 of. But she has to have... If she's going to start that slowly, then her 3-drop has to be Dungrove Elder. To at least put up some sort of a fight, because Predator Ooze is just not going to accomplish anything. It's kind of interesting, like, you know, if she does start with the 1-drop and it doesn't get killed, then, you know, Dungrove Elder is on earlier, and then, you know, then things get really dicey for us, because Dungrove Elder is a card that he can't really deal with.
Now keep in mind, if he gut shots the bird or the elf, I mean, maybe the tracker lives. Because if she can get a tracker going, she can beat just about everything short of the Geist of St. Traff with it. You know, with the Predator Ooze plus tracker combo.
Yeah, she can be fighting literally every card in his deck. And at that point anyway, Predator Ooze is probably going to likely be able to block Geist of St. Traff profitably too. So if she can get the fighting engine online, it's definitely something you should do. And if she can get a little bit to a longer game, then Thragtusk becomes a realistic option as well. So yeah, being on the play is a big deal, I think.
Absolutely. I think Crushing Vines and Stinger Fling Spider are going to be important. The big question, though, is the Geist of St. Traff. I think the games where Ross has Geist of St. Traff are going to be a lot different than the ones where he doesn't.
I definitely agree with that. Ross looking over his hand. That's going to be a mulligan of 6. Kyrie looks like she's going to keep her opener.
It's kind of nice. From this angle, you can actually see some of the people walking by. Hopefully we'll get one of the wild ones.
Yeah, one of the many cosplayers this weekend.
Although the area in this... Oh, I think we have a hero.
Ask and you shall receive.
But actually just a little bit behind, can't quite see it, but a little bit behind the players, they have a Quidditch arena set up where people are playing Quidditch.
Really?
Yeah, now I haven't seen any of them flying, but they do have brooms and the rings and, you know, like the whole, like, I mean, I don't know the regulation of Quidditch. I don't know what the rules are on that one, but they're certainly playing it, and they look very competitive. So we might try to check that out between rounds.
Very nice. Very nice. Ross 1-6. Oh no, hands through the hair.
Oh, is he nervous?
Yeah, I think it's a telltale sign.
All right. Those 7 were good. With these 6, he anticipates being even better.
All right, it's a keeper. All right, there it is.
Tell his hand was mediocre. He was displaying way too much confidence and strength. He was selling it a little hard.
We got a ponder here. He might be looking for the old G shot.
Vapor Snag and 2 land. Just a question of if he needs the mana. Apparently he does.
Any gut shots to be had? No gut shot. Bird is live. Can we capitalize?
It's interesting. He boarded in Divine Offering because last game he saw the Batter Skull. Kylie's actually only has 2 artifacts in her deck. 1 Batter Skull, 1 Sword of Feast and Famine.
That is interesting. I mean, it makes sense on why he would board it in. Obviously, he doesn't have the information that we have. As we see a Strangler Geist, then what's this going to be? Number 2. The Geist beatdowns. It's been a little while since we've seen them. We're going to see a Thought Scour here. Clearing that island and a Snapcaster, drawing Ross a gut shot. You're a little late. It is a time-sensitive card. Mutagenic Growth drawn for Ross. He does not look to be in a good spot right now. Geist of St. Traff is a card that can catch him up in a hurry. But
he's so far behind.
Yeah, as a gut shot on a bird is nice, taking care of it. However, that 2 life is not free. It's gonna knock him down to 12. And that's a Rancor off the top right now.
Wow.
There's also a Green Sun Zenith hanging out over there as well, but we are going to opt for a Rancor here. We're coming in for 6. It's a 2-turn clock as it stands. You think you can afford to block here?
No. No, I do not. Because the problem will only be worse next turn.
Restoration Angel drawn, although for some reason I do not think that Ross has a 4th land this game.
Yeah.
He is in what looks to be searching. Okay, the Angel token. So he's going to move in for 6 here. He's going to put Kyrie down to 14.
And he's got a snag, which is something.
Drawing card. I think that draw was a Predator Ooze for Kyrie. Zenith for 2. Is that okay with you? Looks to be okay. And of course we are going to be searching out another String Root Geist here. They're all on top. Shuffling back in the Zenith. And we're going to see ourselves another attack step forward. Oops. A lethal attack, but it's not going to get Ross dead just yet. It'll be interesting to see if he can come back this game. I mean, if there's any card that can do it, it's Geist Saint Draft. But
so if he plays Blade Splicer next turn, if he plays Blade, so he Vapor Snags the Strangaroo Geist now, takes 4, goes to 2, drops Blade Splicer. Blade Splicer, so he has to have Blade Splicer and a land and another snag, but that's one way to do it.
We know he doesn't have one of those. Well, there's a land.
Could he possibly have a Blade Splicer already in his hand?
Alright, he's in for 6.
So, if he has a Delver and a Snapcaster.
This is just him with a Restoration Angel here, I guess maybe hoping that Kyrie makes a mistake. You see a Strangaroo Geist.
Got it.
She's just going to cast her spells, which is what all that she needs to do. And Ross is going to concede
packs it up. Kyrie takes game 2. In what so far has been just an all-out race between Mono Green and Blue White Delver.
You see how he immediately took a card like out of his hand and put it down? I think it might be that Divine
Offering
that we talked about.
That Divine Offering got out of his deck so fast.
Yeah. This card is garbage. I do not want to have this in my deck.
Nobody must ever know.
Yeah. She'll have no idea that's the card was in my hand. Yeah, just immediately boarded out. And he only does have one Divine Offering in the sideboard, so I presume that is what got boarded out very, very quickly for Ross.
Yeah, he's probably giving that Phantasmal Image another look. He's like, the amount of Strangaroo Geist I gotten, I wouldn't mind a little defense against that.
But we spoke about it during the first sideboarded game, just how important having a Mana Accelerant would be for her that game.
Yeah.
And it did play a pretty big role that game.
Absolutely. And she very wisely, playing around the Vapor Snag, played the Rancor. A lot of people would Green Sun Zenith the turn she played Rancor. They Green Sun Zenith for the Strangaroo Geist just to use their mana more efficiently. But she wisely played the Rancor and saved the Green Sun Zenith for the Strangaroo Geist next turn, so that if he has a a Vapor Snag, which he did, she doesn't lose the Rancor. So just smart, tight play on her part.
So we're going to see a very important game 3, of course. Both players are 3-0, looking to move to 4-0.
Are you watching if they cheat? Is that why? Are they recording?
What do you expect Ross to be doing different here? I mean, obviously he's hoping for a Delver of Secrets, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's hoping for basically the start that he had game 1, just a Delver to start, you know, a Ponder, that sort of thing. Geist on turn 3 again, very, very important in this matchup, just to get things underway. So we'll see exactly, I mean, what he's capable to do.
If nothing else, he definitely wants the 7 cards. Although Delver does mulligan better than a lot of decks.
It does mulligan better than other decks.
Amazing what Ponder can do for you in a low mana curve.
How many lands Ross is running? He typically plays 19, 8.
Seems like 19 has become the popular thing for the decks with Ponders, whereas the non-Ponder decks are playing 23.
Yeah. Ross showing his opening hand. There's a Delver of Secrets for you. This is the ideal start. Now, does she have a mana elf to counteract? She does not. Now, no flip this go around. In for 1. And does Ross have a Ponder? No Ponder. Okay. We're gonna need something this turn.
Stranglegeist?
Geist or Zenith for 1. We gotta see something this turn from Kyrie.
It is the Zenith for 1.
Okay.
Correctly reading, there's not a chance Ross has Mana Leak. Move straight to the library.
We'll see a bird hit play here and pick
So
it
what do you
up.
think about Birds of Paradise here instead of Llanowar Elf?
I think I would have gotten Llanowar off that turn.
The nice thing about Bird is it can potentially block for you.
Yeah.
You know, like being able to block the Angel later or to put a bunch of gear on it, like swords and stuff.
Versus the ability to potentially trade with Delver's Secrets, but if he doesn't flip it, he's not going to attack with it. So, actually, I'm better with Birds of Paradise. I think Birds is better long term. It's just going to be a Geist of St. Traft here. I can't imagine he's tapping 3 mana for any other reason. There's Public Enemy number 1.
Well, this definitely is going to make it tougher, but she's got a land. Nothing else, she can play a bird.
We haven't seen Dungrove make an appearance today. There's a Rancor.
Sometimes you got to get filthy.
Hey, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Checking for Delver. Hit.
That's an unfortunate hit.
That's a hit.
That is a big hit.
Ross showing you why he is a standard open champion. As we have a Vapor Snack here off a Snapcaster Mage. And this just shows you again, we didn't see much Delver last week, and you know, we don't want to get people into the mindset that this deck is going away. The draw that Ross had game 1 in this particular game shows you just exactly why this deck was defining the format.
And they're going to keep Delver, Snapcaster Mage, Geist of St. Traft, lose Mana Leak, lose Ponder, lose Vapor Snag. So I mean, they're going to take some hits. But it's still going to exist. I think Jund has what it takes to take the top spot. And I mean, obviously, I hold out a lot of hope for Raka Control and Grixis. But
sure. As Ross just unloaded a Dismember and a Vapor Stack to take care of the Ooze and the Bird and the match. So Ross Merriam, all the way out here from Middleton, Connecticut, traveling the world, globe-trotting, if you will.
Playing the game, seeing the world.
Indeed. Moves on to 4-0, piling Blue-Eyed Delver over Kyrie and her Mono Green Dungrove Elder deck, which we did not see Dungrove make an appearance this match.